EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for January 17th, 2020. We have a very cold day here today expected with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures are not going to get above freezing for most of you. It may reach freezing or maybe very slightly above very far southeastern areas, but other than that, it's going to be pretty cold today. The good thing is the wind's going to be dying down. We have a little bit of a breeze this morning to contend with, and by the afternoon it will be negligible and go away as this high pressure moves in. Very strong high pressure moving into the region, so that will give us the mostly sunny skies and the cold temperatures. Next system coming in is our winter storm that we were talking about for better part of a week now. And this is starting to come together now. We have our first maps out on the weather alerts page. And I really try to stay away from the Facebook page because I have moderators that take care of that. And, you know, they'll post stuff for us when we say things are going to be available at a certain time. They'll post it. They'll moderate the comments. So I try to stay away from there. But I just happened to go on there last night. I was very disappointed with people expecting this major storm and had this idea that this major storm was coming, and now it's turning into slop, and I just don't understand it because it's not something we were pushing all week, and yet we get the complaints for it. I just don't understand it. But this was never going to be a 6 to 12 inch snowstorm ever at any point, so I'm not sure where that was coming from or that idea was coming from. But you can still get several inches out of this, and in some cases a plowable snowfall. That's the only thing we've ever said all week. We had a probability projection that we did on Tuesday where we kind of outlined the chances for 1 to 4 or greater than 4 in certain areas and the probability of that happening. That's all we did, and then we put out the maps last night. We'll update them today again if we need to, but it really was never a big storm, so I'm not really sure where people are getting that idea because it certainly wasn't from us. And so anyway, here is what we're looking at here for Friday night: increasing clouds, and that's it. This precipitation is going to move into our region. It's going to start everywhere as snow, and then it's going to transition at some point to sleet and freezing rain further south. Not really too much in the way of freezing rain, mostly just sleet though, which are the frozen pellets that people often confuse with hail. Obviously, it's much smaller and a different process altogether. It's not convective. This is a winter process. So it's just a frozen raindrop, basically, just falling down and hitting the ground, bounces, So it will change over to sleet at some point, but some areas might hold on to snow a little bit longer and may not even change over at all in the far northern areas, in some far northern areas. Further south, we do expect a change over to rain closer to Philadelphia, the I-95 corridor, and points south and east, and then this system will wrap up early evening on Saturday. This is not going to be a very, very long thing, maybe like a 9-hour event, something like that. As we get over to the NAM precipitation map here, this is showing me the quantitative precipitation if you would melt it all down to liquid. So if everything fell as rain, this is how much rain you would get. And these numbers you're seeing here are generally 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So that's not, even if it was all snow, which is not going to be for most of you, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, you translate that to snow at a 10 to 1 ratio, it's a 3 to 5 inch snowfall. Not a huge storm. Plowable? Yes, of course. Is it, a foot of snow or 2 feet of snow or whatever people were fantasizing about or thinking? I don't know where they're getting that from. I don't know. No, it never was that. So this is kind of what we were expecting here. Now there is some sleet moving in here. Warm air advection is part of this too, and that's why we had these sleet totals and snow totals lower. We might be adjusting here today. I don't think the orientation is going to be different. If we do adjust, it's just going to be maybe adjusting the legend amounts. Maybe a few spots get a little bit more. We had coating to 2 inches down in the southern areas here, and maybe that turns into a 1 to 3 instead of a coating 2 inches. And our 1 to 3 inch areas in this, up a little bit further, like by the Lehigh Valley, northern New Jersey, 1 to 3, locally 4 might just become 2 to 4, locally 5. So adding an inch on the top end, maybe that's a possibility. We'll see. That's the kind of adjustments we would make today if there were adjustments to be made. Nothing huge. But the snow will come in here. This is looking at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Snow comes in. Initial burst here comes through. And then you have snow that will continue into the early afternoon. And then as you see this big area of pink, this is indicating sleet. The freezing rain is confined way back here in this purple color. Rain is back here in green. So this is warm air advection. So you have warm air coming in aloft. So up at about 6,000 feet or thereabout. You have this warm air injection. It's not a big area of warmth, so it can be overcome if we can get some heavier rates in here. And I think that's what the NAM is trying to do here once we get past this point, because we have this sleet coming in, and it works its way eastward, and it gets to a certain point and then just kind of flattens out. Watch this. And it turns back to snow. And the reason it's doing that is because the warm air advection is not that influential at that level, and there's a very strong shortwave moving through at the same time. And I think the dynamics of that are going to change us back over to snow. We do have that on our map right now. We do expect a snow to sleet back to snow situation here for the interior, so that the NAM is definitely indicating that. Further south, you still have the sleet continuing, and then you have rain southeast of the I-95 corridor. So this is definitely a colder run this evening on the NAM. Not sure if this is going to be a continued trend or not. We'll see, and we'll make that decision tomorrow. Or excuse me, on Friday. It is Friday already. We will make that decision, and then we'll have the maps out at 5 o'clock adjusted if we need to. If we don't need to, it might just stay as called. Not sure of that yet, but it looks like everything's kind of heading in the direction of our map right now as it is anyway. Only thing the NAM did here was just increase the amount of precipitation total from what it was showing earlier, which was a little more scarce. But we already adjusted for that, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes, but I don't expect anything, even if everything fell as snow, this is all melted down here. If this all fell as snow here, you're still not getting a tremendous amount of snow. We're not talking about, 8, 10, 12 inches of snow out of this, because there's just not enough liquid equivalent to produce that. So this moves out actually early evening. By early evening, it's off the coast already. See that? And this is the last frame here I'm showing you here is 8 p.m. So that moves out pretty quickly. Between 6 and 9, it's gone. All right? And then that's it for that snowstorm. That's it. And it's gone. After that, we get partly cloudy and breezy here on Sunday. We are going to be with temperatures generally in the 30s early, and then they're going to fall through the 20s in the afternoon as cold air advects. Very similar to what happened yesterday with the on Thursday with it. Not quite as windy as that, but it's going to have, where the temperatures fell kind of late in the day. That's the kind of thing you're going to have on Sunday as well. And then after that, once we get into the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, most of you will not be above freezing, but it is going to be dry during that time frame. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, expecting partly cloudy skies on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are all mostly sunny. By the time we get to Thursday, high pressure is going to move a little further east, and we'll have a slight warm-up, if you will, back into the middle 30s, so mid to upper 30s. Okay, so that's not really warm necessarily, but it will be warmer than it will have been Monday through Wednesday, where highs are only going to be upper 20s to near 30 in many locations in the interior. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for January 17th, 2020. Have a great Friday.